Good evening. Welcome to the Positional Sports Talk Show Post. Live streaming on Facebook Live, Twitch, and our Positional Sports Talk Show YouTube channel. We are a sports talk show made for the fans, from the perspective of fans, presented by lifelong sports fans. This evening, we will provide our opinions and positions on the hottest topics in sports. As usual, my name is Big Reg, and I'm joined by my partners in crime. What's going on, J3? How you feeling this evening, my brother?
What's up? Feeling good. Let's get it in.
We got my man Big Ed in the building. What's going on, Ed? How you feeling, partner?
Man, I'm actually feeling great. Long weekend, ready to roll. Let's do this. Good to see everybody.
Good to see you, partner. We got two of our special contributors. We got my man Sense back in the building. How you feeling, Sense?
What's good, everybody? Thanks for having me back. Ready to talk some sports. Let's get it.
Yeah.
And last but definitely not least, the 7-foot poet is back in the building. We only get him, like every 6, 7, 8 months. So what's going on, 7-foot? How you feeling?
Hey, man, it's all good. Good to see everybody. Glad to be back. I've been away because I haven't been receiving compensation for my name, image, and likeness. And until Big Reg and then want to pay me to be on the show.
He runs you them coins.
Yeah, me and Sis, we contributors to this, but we still should get compensation, adequate compensation.
Whoa.
Ain't that right, Sis?
We're an amateur organization.
Oh!
Is that what it is? Run that.
We provide you airtime and all that. What else you want? Come on,
You get to go Hollywood in LA.
So this evening, obviously, we're going to get on the name, image, and likeness topic because what happened last week was hilarious to me. So we're going to dig into that. Before we dig into that, we got to talk about the NBA Conference Finals and the NBA Finals, which is scheduled to start this evening at 9 p.m. Talk about the Stanley Cup. Looks like Tampa Bay Lightning trying to go back-to-back. We're going to finish with some things that caught our attention in our final post. So as always, we appreciate you all for tuning in. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy Post on the Positional Sports Talk Show channel. All right, fellas, we left here last week. It was getting ready to go into game 4. Bucks, Hawks. We was like, uh-oh. Hawks got a problem. Trae Young ain't going to play. It's going to be Bucks in 5, Bucks in 6. And then something funny happened in game 4. Milwaukee forgot to show up. Sweet Lou got his lemon pepper wings before the game. He decided he was going to do his thing. Had the best game of his career in the playoffs. I mean, he ran the team like a true point guard with only one turnover doing his thing. You had Bogdan Bogdanovic, who finally said, F the knee, I'm going to do my thing. And he was dropping buckets. But again, the Bucks decided not to show up, at least for the first 2.5 quarters. By the time Giannis got him going, we got problems. So what y'all feel about game 4?
I think it was consistent how the Bucks have been playing pretty much in the last 3 or 4 years in big games. I mean, they just decided to not show up. And let's be honest, I know there's times, and I've been fussing about this for a couple years now. There are times when Chris Middleton decides to have a good game, despite his erratic shot selection and just volume of shots.
Man, you gonna stop slandering Professor's boy, you know that.
I didn't slander him. I'm just saying, all I'm saying is that he should never take more shots than the MVP, the Greek Freak. He should never do that. So I just think that when Giannis doesn't have it, when he has less than his A game, then you get results like this. And as a professional athlete or hooper, there's going to be days where he just doesn't have it. He just doesn't feel good. And that's why without them having a solid number 2, some would argue Drew Holiday is that solid number 2. I wouldn't. But yeah.
What you feel, a 7-footer?
Right.
Man, I think about the series itself, man. I think that what it really highlighted and didn't get enough play was Nate McMillan is a hell of a coach.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And I just think he's getting underrated. So I hope he gets his bag. Clearly, he's doing the most with what he got. And I thought that, Trae Young, the Hawks are young and they're good. And it's kind of double-edged. Trae, I think he said something like, we'll be back next year or something like that. And I hope they do because they got all the pieces. And y'all know how sports go. There's no guarantee you'll ever get back to that level.
Got that
You
right.
might not even make the playoffs again.
Got that right.
Hey, 7 foot. When you mentioned that Nate McMillan, and we have acknowledged in the past that he's done an incredible job since taking over for in the season for the Atlanta Hawks. But I think it's ironic how if you look at the Atlanta roster right now, and if you look at it, and they seem that they have talent pretty much at every position. It might not be known talent or even 100% developed talent, but you can clearly see that they're right where they need to be moving forward as far as the future is concerned. But isn't it funny how perception rules the day? Before they got there, people were like, "Oh, they're missing this, that, and the third." But they have a professional coach, Coach McMillan, completely changed the culture and the tone of that team. And now you look at that roster and be like, they're right where they need to be. It's weird how that happens, and it happened within a matter of months.
Well, winning to do that. People change the narrative when you start winning real quick. If the Bulls had lost, Michael Jordan would be a degenerate gambler. But instead, they won, so he's a great competitor. So
that's true.
It's funny you talk about the Atlanta Hawks because if you really think about it, there's a team that played similar to them last year and the year before, and that was the Miami Heat. And where are they at this year? They didn't have a lot of name players on their roster, but they made the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do next year because the Atlanta Hawks are playing just like Miami did last year.
Oh, absolutely. They're coming. And thankfully, Atlanta came to their senses and came to terms with Nate McMillan and gave him that bag and agreed, I think, to a 4-year.
4-year deal.
Yeah, 4-year deal with him. So congrats to him on that. Yeah, well deserved.
I think the Hawks still got a lot of questions. Any team that got Gallinari on it can't play defense, in my opinion. I mean, you got a question mark around the defense. So, but they can shoot. They got shooters.
And Trae Young. Trae Young ain't gonna play a whole lot of defense for you.
Yeah. So you got people covering Collins and Clint Capella. They got some dudes who are doing the dirty work. So it'd be interesting to see how they play into J3's point about whether they maintain it over multiple years or whether it's a flash like Miami. And even the Heat, though, they talking about, the Heat's going to make some moves. I wonder who they're going to try to bring down there.
Yeah, because the Heat's problem this year, the backstory on the Heat problem is the young fellas, after all that notoriety coming out the bubble, enjoyed life in Miami.
And truth be told, they might.
So imagine how these young fellas going to enjoy life in Atlanta.
But I mean, again, with a Nate McMillan coach team, though, I mean, from all the teams that you've seen he's coached, it's always been like discipline, like involved on those teams. So I think that's going to be the same case for Atlanta. Plus, with the offseason coming, I'm sure they're going to address those holes defensively in free agency or through draft.
Well, they're gonna have to sign Collins, and Collins gonna get a big bag. And there's a whole lot of teams that just realize he's a more athletic 4/5 that can actually shoot the three from the corners. So it's a whole lot of teams. So it's gonna be interesting. Let's talk about the team that ended up winning the series. So the Bucks didn't show up in Game 4. They came out with attitude in Game 5. They literally punched the Hawks in the mouth. I mean, Brook Lopez dropped 33 and was catching alley-oops. I
Okay.
ain't seen Brooke Lopez dunk in 5 years.
I haven't
He
seen
ain't catching alley oops yet.
So,
He
Man,
wasn't catching alley oops when he was at Stanford.
but real talk. Think about it. Let's really do some evaluation on here. Think about it. All they had to do is look at film and realize that they were bigger than
that's
Atlanta.
in Atlanta.
All
true.
they had to do was keep feeding it down low,
But
and they was
J3,
killing them.
But they don't like to play like that in the NBA these days.
I understand, but obviously somebody must have listened or they watched film because that's all they did. Like you said, Lopez was killing them down low,
Well,
and they
wasn't the
could have been doing that the whole series. It put Giannis down there and stay down there.
I think more of that was Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday decided, since he didn't have to be concerned about making sure Giannis got his 30 touches, and he just ran the offense, Drew Holiday took over that game. He took over game 5 and game 6 and just did what he wanted. When he wanted to go to the basket, he went to the basket because, as we said, Atlanta didn't have anybody to stop him. But
remember we talked about that last week, Reg, when I mentioned, I was like, I think that the players more so than the coaching staff for Milwaukee was the ones that actually finally decided, okay, we're better than these people. We're more talented. We're bigger, like you say, J3. We're bigger than them. Let's play some bully basketball and get this thing done with. But yeah, I think it's the players. I think the players have to figure it out, and it takes them longer because they don't have a game technician, manager / head coach at all. I think he'll be gone regardless. I think even if they make the finals, I don't think he's going to be there moving forward long term. I just don't see it.
Boogs is out there.
They've already made the finals. What I'm talking about. Yeah. I mean, I think if they lose, I think he'll be gone. Now, if they win, it might be a little tricky. But
yeah, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, but he's not going to outcoach Monty Williams.
I think one thing that as sports fans got to appreciate is there's no statistic for this, and it's really an eye test type thing, but it's team chemistry. When they play with Giannis, they run a certain offense, they play a certain way, and that's because Giannis is there, whatever, and they won with that. And since he's been hurt, they've had to run it a different way, and you see different guys show different talents and different abilities. When even Lopez, when Giannis is in the game, Lopez is spotting up for 3-point jumpers.
Yep.
Giannis is out, Lopez is all of a sudden down low, picking and rolling and catching it. That's because the players change and the team chemistry changes. And the chemistry of a team is one of those amorphous things that you just gotta, teams are more than the sum of their parts. Like if you need a cohesion. It's not just, you can't just put 5 stars and automatically win. It's like that's part of the beauty of sports that fans come to appreciate. You can get teams with some weaknesses and some strengths, and you got to have that meshing, and they can win. So it's going to be interesting when Giannis comes back in the championship series. I think he's out the first game, right? Did they say when Giannis is coming back?
He's still a game this time decision.
Yeah,
I just saw him walk into the court. He had a wrap on his leg and looked like he was getting ready to go out there and test it to see if he could go. So he trying to get back in because the last thing Giannis wants is to see the Bucks win,
and he's not contributing,
and he not a big portion of that. That's the last thing.
We
can pay that man 5 years, $120 million.
Giannis' agent don't want to see that, but Giannis, I'm gonna give him credit, wants to see it. I mean, he wants his teammates to win, but Giannis' agent don't want to see that at all.
Nah, I mean, because again, with that knee and the way them Phoenix boys run, yeah, that's problematic if he ain't ready physically.
So we will see, but yeah, you hit it right on the head, 7-footer. That team chemistry is always changing, and it's going to take Giannis to realize after watching his team win the Eastern Conference without him to pull back some and allow them to keep shining. Because we talked about this last week. I think Giannis has realized I'm a starter, like in pitching. I'm a start pitcher. I'm going to take you 6, 7, 8, 9 innings. Or in this case, I'm going to take you 3, maybe 3.5 quarters of a game. But I need somebody else to close this thing.
Well, that's the question, I guess, because, the teams change. Styles make fights. So against Phoenix, maybe they need Giannis to go back to that old style with Giannis playing in order for them to win. Maybe Phoenix ain't scared of Lopez, and he ain't gonna be doing that against the 7-footer Aiden. They got a 7-footer in Phoenix.
If I was Aiden, I might, because again, you don't know if he's gonna go down low or like kill you from three.
But Aiden
can't shoot for three.
Right.
Remember, Aiden's been the only big man throughout this playoffs that hasn't had to come off the floor because the other teams ran him off the floor with the small ball. He can move.
Mm-hmm.
And they keep him involved in the game. And as long as they say, big fella, we need you to get them rebounds. We need you to get 12 to 20 rebounds a game. And we'll get you 14 to 20 points.
Without fouling.
Without fouling out, yeah.
Right.
To get to this point, did Phoenix play? Was it the Nuggets they played?
Yes.
Did Phoenix play the Nuggets?
The Lakers.
Yes.
And then
I'm pretty sure they did because Aiden outplayed, or at least played as well.
Oh, the MVP, yeah, he he put it on.
Mm-hmm.
He put it on AD.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't hard.
But AD was hurt.
Yeah,
AD he put it on.
Man.
Come on, man. He still put it on. If you touch the court,
there you go. I knew you were going to say that.
Now you sound like J3.
By default.
Come on now.
Man, listen.
He put it on the MVP, and then he put it on the Clippers. Because everybody talked about CP3's great game 6, and that was monster. Dropping 31 in the second half. 19 consecutive points he either scored or assisted on to take that game lead. But DeAndre Ayton had 16 and 17 boards. He controlled the paint.
Putting in work.
I never seen him cover for an MVP like they cover for Jokic going out. Because Ayton outplayed him. I'm just going to say that as a side note. You know. Are we talking about, so speaking of Phoenix, I'm glad you asked me that, Big Reg. Because this is the topic that everybody really want to talk about on Phoenix. It's the Phoenix Suns. They located in Arizona. They had all these black players and all this stuff, all this cool stuff. Explain to me why they got a black gorilla for a mascot. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Why do they have a black gorilla for a mascot? And why has not anybody said anything about that?
Because he's athletic and he can jump.
And he puts on the show.
He's been the most popular mascot in the NBA for decades.
I'm asking why did they?
But I hear you. I hear you.
For the Phoenix Suns.
Ask Robert Sarver.
I hear you. Nah, the gorilla precedes the current owner. So yeah, I feel you. I feel you. That's a question you need to get on a hot mic at a press conference. You know, why y'all got a black gorilla as a mascot?
I don't see. Is it offensive?
Depending on who you ask.
Yeah, depending on who you ask.
Depending on who
I'm
you
just
ask.
saying that the
gorilla ain't got nothing to do with it.
What?
It's just a coincidence that he's so athletic. Just a coincidence.
Charles Barkley never said nothing about it when he was there.
Quiet as a church mouse, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Quiet.
I'm glad that you just used Charles Barkley as an example. I really don't know.
That was
Chuck then turned in to get off my lawn, man. He is a man. So we got the final start tonight. Giannis is eventually going to play, whether he plays game 1 or whether he comes back game 2 or game 3. I picked the Bucks before the season started, so I got to ride with my pick, but I'm not feeling confident about it. JT, who you got in the series?
Well, that's a good question. And I mean, again, if Milwaukee uses their size to their advantage, I think they'll take the edge. Don't get me wrong. I got a lot of confidence in Phoenix, but when it comes to size, I don't think they can match up. So I'm gonna go with the Bucks.
Okay. Who you got, Ed?
Well, I'm definitely rolling with Phoenix. They run LA. They dismissed both LA teams.
Watch your mouth.
They dismissed both LA
Watch your mouth.
teams, and they dismissed the MVP. I have to go with Phoenix, and plus, I happen to watch Chris Paul. I don't even know what he did to LA. He just destroyed them. It was beautiful to watch. But I'm going with LA. I mean, Phoenix. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got.
Well, yeah, I should say LA because they run LA.
They don't. They do not.
They dismissed LeBron and Kawhi.
Injuries, man. I don't care about the Clippers, but yes, injuries.
That's part of it.
Who you got, Sense? Since your Lakers aren't there?
Honestly, I wouldn't be mad if either team won. I know both are due, Chris Paul and Giannis.
Come on,
But
man. You can't go with
if I had to pick, only because they beat my Lakers by default, I'm gonna say Bucks in 7.
Oh, so you don't want the team to beat your team to win, huh?
Heck no.
That pushes y'all further down the ladder.
Yeah.
That pushes y'all further down the ladder, though.
The only time that I liked Phoenix was when they beat the Clippers. When they just made sure the Clippers didn't advance. So,
But since you talking about injuries, but you didn't say anything about Kawhi. That's the only reason why they beat him, because Kawhi was hurt.
you know,
I don't necessarily.
I'm not really concerned about the Clippers. You know, it's the Lakers.
Who you got, 7-footer?
Well, you know, let me just say, I've been a fan and watching the post from the jump. I've been watching y'all from the jump, so I know that consistently one of y'all has been speaking some insightful, intelligent, some just supremely. I don't even have a word for a monosyllabic word to throw in there. And they've done this consistently with their performance. And except for this one little thing around the Pittsburgh Steelers where he gets off track. But other than that, Big Ed always is on point. I've been watching him a long time. I'm just going to tell you that. And once again, the man said Phoenix, and the Phoenix Suns are going to win this. That's who I'm picking. The only thing, of course, is the NBA. Just like when you're dealing with the WBA or the WBO in boxing, you got to ask Don King who's going to win. I'm going to call the commissioner of the NBA and ask him who's going to win the series.
That's true.
And then I'll get back to y'all. But otherwise, I'm going with the Phoenix Suns.
Wow.
So it sounds like y'all are right with our listeners out there. You got Marcus, BJ, a whole bunch of people jumping on that Suns bandwagon.
Let me give a shout out to Devin Booker because he was balling out of control, particularly when Chris Paul was hurt.
Until your man broke his nose and then act like he didn't know what he was doing.
Okay, man. Can we just give him a quick Bama of the week?
So I got a quick question for y'all. Then we jump out of the NBA. What y'all think Chris said to him? Because it wasn't when he pushed him, but he said something to him before that to make him. He said something to him. Did he tell him to join Cancun or something?
1, 2, 3 Cancun.
But yeah, he got off light though with that 1-game suspension.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe he did it.
That was a punk move though.
I cannot believe he did it. I was like,
some
what
playground stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since we're in the NBA, let's go ahead and get this out the way. The ESPN drama that's been going on. I don't know why anybody's surprised. It hasn't been, like it's been a hidden secret that, it's been tough for people of color at ESPN to continue to move forward. And anytime they actually seem like they're pushing them forward, when they start doing their thing, they get a little nervous. They end up disappearing. So what do y'all think about y'all girl Rachel Nichols? And I don't even want to bring Red Taylor in this because she ain't had nothing to do with this. But I mean, what y'all think about Rachel?
Here's what I have to say about that whole situation. What Rachel said was kind of true. Don't kill me. Hear me out first. Because according to reports, she said that if you guys want to give her something to do, and I'm paraphrasing, because of your crappy record on race, that's fine. Just don't do it at my expense. That's what she said. I hate that we live in a world or a society where we can't tell the truth, because That's exactly what ESPN probably was doing. They know they have a sucky record on race.
Mhm.
It's well documented throughout the years. Even their personalities are speaking out against it now, about it now. But Rachel Nichols, I'm sure there's a little privilege involved in all this. She was like, well, hold up. Let me get mine.
She should be doing the Doris Burke thing. I shouldn't.
Yeah, if you want to find something for her to do outside of football or whatever, that's fine. But I want to do these finals or however it went. But I'm not on her side. All I'm saying is that she kind of told the truth.
She went a little past that, though. You got to listen to the whole 10 minutes. But go ahead.
Hey, Greg, can I withdraw everything I said in the previous segment about Big Ed? I'm gonna withdraw everything I said in the previous segment.
No, all I'm saying, 7 foot. All I'm saying is that this is what there was some privilege involved in what she said, but there was an element of truth what she said as far as the company's record as far as race is concerned, and that they are trying to fix it now. And that's what they're trying to do, because I don't think they were being sincere. In my opinion, I don't think they were really being sincere. I think Maria Taylor is talented. I'd rather listen to Maria Taylor than Nichols any day. But it is what it is. We're in a different era. They're trying to correct past mistakes, and we always talk about hiring and giving people opportunities, and that's what they were trying to do. And she just felt a certain kind of way about it. But she told the truth. I don't get on people for telling the truth.
She's pissed off, man.
Yeah, she's pissed. She mad because she should be where Maria Taylor is doing the thing. And clearly it was for a reason that Maria got that gig and not you. So to me, I feel that was kind of sour grapes and also done in poor taste. But am I surprised that she did it? Sadly, no. Because what's done in the dark ultimately will come to the light. Clearly, she kind of, I'm not saying that what she did was on a racist tone, but even those who scream like they're not racist still has a little bit of, a tinge of
just microaggression. Lets you know everything.
You saying that I'm not racist. Right? Clearly, you are.
That's microaggression. That's microaggressions. That's exactly what that is.
Stool him a little bit, South Florida.
I appreciate what's been said. I have some questions that I would ask, Rachel, just in the beginning to find out. I'd be like, Rachel, okay, how'd you get the job, Rachel? Okay, so I want to hear the answer to that. Were you the most qualified for the job, Rachel? No. Was there somebody else that was holding the job? Was there somebody else? If it was a white male holding the job before you, or that they were going to hire, and he's like, well, y'all find somebody else to let Rachel Nichols get the job somewhere else. Don't take my job. And then was ESPN like, well, we got to do something about our crappy record on diversity. We ain't going to have no black people, so let's bring in a white woman. There's some questions to be answered, because we see with affirmative action, the biggest beneficiary has been white people, yet black people get blamed for affirmative action.
Yep.
I'm just talking about regular jobs, not even TV jobs. So
was it your rich father-in-law? But go ahead.
Exactly. Going on here.
Exactly.
There's some open questions that got to be answered to really fully appreciate the dynamic. I just want to do. I did see somebody sent me a clip of Kwame Brown talking about Steven Jackson, because Steven Jackson made a clip defending Rachel Nichols. And I just want to say, shout out for the comedy from Kwame Brown, because it was funny. He went in on him.
Oh yeah, there's some rumors about Rachel out anyway. I ain't gonna touch on them, but
I can't. But the point about
she ain't the only one.
Big Ed, but that's what I'm saying. The truth that resonated with you, I think you're saying the truth that Rachel Nichols was like, "Don't do it at my expense." I'm like, well, first, Rachel, we got to look at whose expense you got that position. No.
What I was saying is that what she said about ESPN trying to correct past mistakes. That's what I'm saying is the truth.
Okay.
I'm not doubting. Look, I know how this. I know it's all a game. I get that. The game is when you get to those type jobs. I'm sure there's games being played, backs being scratched. I get it. And I'm sure she benefited just like I'm sure Maria's benefiting now. And then they both can be just that great, that talented. Who knows?
And I think that. Oh, go ahead, J3.
I was going to say, but did Maria even? I mean, I know Maria played basketball, but did Rachel play basketball at all?
Maria didn't play basketball. She played volleyball. She was an All-American volleyball player from Georgia.
Right. So, I mean, it's only fitting.
Well, the fact of the matter is, like, I think with ESPN, if we all assume they had a crappy record on diversity, which is a safe assumption, they got to fix it. So they're starting to fix it. And I think promoting Maria Taylor is as good a place as any to start.
Why don't they just promote Sage Steele?
No,
because nobody at ESPN likes him. There you go.
I was gonna like Rachel after that, what she just said. So
yeah, she gonna have problems. She gonna have problems.
One other thing that I just want to bring up real quick. I kind of feel like the dude that she was having a conversation with, Adam Mendelsohn, right? Who supposedly is LeBron James's advisor. Yeah, I don't see him being that for long.
Why?
This whole thing. Really? Mr. LeBron is like the face of pro blackness right now. And
well, that's
will be kind of,
But who assigned that job to him? Who assigned that job to him?
You know why she was talking to him?
Mm-hmm.
Because she wanted to get in LeBron's ear. LeBron would go back to the NBA and say, hey, I want Rachel. That's what her hope was. She wasn't just talking to him just because.
Well, allegedly, the quote from Adam Mendelsohn in the conversation was, he said that with this music movement stuff and this Black Lives Matter stuff, I'm all worn out. This tired me out or something.
Mm-hmm.
So
why I don't see him being LeBron's advisor.
I was about to say, with allies like that, you don't need no enemies.
Well, it depends how much money he's making LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Vice versa.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
All right. Well, one last thing on this. I would just say all those people that was getting on Maria Taylor about a week ago or so when the news popped out that she was asked for Stephen A. Smith money. Now y'all know why she was asked for that kind of money. She
first off, take the money from Stephen A. Smith, give it to Maria Taylor.
Amen.
Take that. Yeah. We have enough of Stephen A. We don't need.
They ain't gonna do that. They scared to lose Stephen A. Stephen A. on more stuff on ESPN now than he ever's been.
So, I don't know.
They're not scared to lose him. They're scared to lose his. Well, they can replace him with another
followers.
Yeah, they can replace him. Have him go to Fox. That's where he's best. But good.
Yeah. All right. We gonna jump real quick and lightly into the Stanley Cup Finals. As we said last Tuesday, if Montreal Canadiens, we'll be back about 5. If the Montreal Canadiens didn't decide, to try to muck up the game or do something, this was gonna get ugly quick. And damn, they got ugly quick. I mean, we went from them down 1-0 to blink your eye. It was 3-0. I mean, Tampa killed them game 2. Even though the score was 3-1, if you happen to see that game, they dominated the puck most of the time. They was in the other team's defensive end 2/3 of the game, so it wasn't even that close. And then game 3 was worse. They scored 2 goals every period.
You sound surprised.
Wait, come on now. You don't see hockey scores in the freaking Stanley Cup playoffs and teams scoring 6 goals. Come on now. I mean, they was doing it with ease.
Back to back. Tampa Bay back to back.
They might mess around and get a 3-peat.
Dynasty.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's looking ugly.
The Tom Brady effect.
But one thing I gotta take my hat off to Montreal. They was like, look, we might lose this cup, but y'all are not doing it on our home ice. We've just got people in the building. It's only 3,500 of them, but y'all are not raising the cup on our ice.
Bring your A game.
Yeah, but Tampa's mayor didn't want that anyway.
Yeah, did you see that? How you gonna come up and say let's give him a game because we wanted to win the cup here so we can celebrate with him? What is she thinking?
Well, because they can have a full stadium in Tampa.
Oh, yeah, it's been major difference. 14,000 plus Tampa, 3,500 in Montreal.
And where the outbreaks coming out of?
Arkansas.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
It's coming from down south.
Better pay attention.
Say that.
Coming from down south.
Better pay attention.
So we got game 5. You're ready to jump off. Game 5 is Wednesday. Back in Tampa.
It's over.
Do the Lightning put them to bed and allow them to get?
Yes.
Allow them to say 1, 2, 3 Cancun.
Say night night. Say night night.
It took them to overtime last night to do it, and that was a struggle.
Yeah.
And, it took a man busting the dude in his head.
Yeah.
It's over. Everybody knows this. I don't think Tampa wanted to win last night.
Mm-mm. Like Chad Johnson says, go ahead and kiss the baby.
I've never heard that.
I mean, who would have thought Tampa Bay getting ready to have a back-to-back champion and maybe 2?
Well, Tampa's been a good Tampa. Now, one thing we have to do, even before these last 2 cups, Tampa's been a good franchise, a great franchise for several years now. I mean, they
I agree.
Yeah, so it's not like this is like unbelievable. But the way they have turned it on in these particular playoffs, now that might be unbelievable. Because
I mean, they had two starters that didn't play all season, came back to the playoffs and dominated.
Right.
Like they ain't miss a beat.
Because they didn't mess with the nucleus. They kept the team intact, like you're supposed to if you want to go back to back.
Yeah, it's a little easier in hockey to do that when you ain't paying people outrageous amounts of money. I mean, the best players are making $8 to $10 million a year. So I hear you. So
the Lakers couldn't go back to back.
Oh.
I'm just messing with you.
For the 5th time together. How many times have we gone back to back?
I like LA. I'm a Lakers fan, so I'm just messing with you.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's still fresh, Ed. It's still fresh.
No, we need to do something with Anthony Davis' fitness level. That's it.
Yeah, take some yoga. He needs to take some yoga.
Nah, he gonna be on LeBron's plan. Like I said, LeBron gonna make him spend $1 million.
You see, he been at LeBron's hip lately at all the at WNBA games, and
that ain't happening again. Not like that. But the only thing with the NHL, Tampa Bay should win this. But if the goalie, if Carey Price starts standing on his head, it could get ugly. And if it goes back to Canada for game 6, then people start getting a little nervous. The shorts start getting a little tighter. You don't breathe as easy. So they need to go ahead and put this away tomorrow night, or it could get interesting real quick.
I think they're going to. I think they.
Come on, Big Reg. They, like I said, 3-2 overtime victory.
I agree. I agree.
They struggled to win. They struggled to win one game.
Yeah.
I agree. Tampa Bay is clearly the class. I didn't see it at that. I mean, who could see it? 2 of their best players didn't play all season. I understand you said it, J3. I give you credit. But, I mean, you see somebody show up in the playoffs, and he's probably going to win the Conn Smythe for the best player in the playoffs, and the dude didn't play at all during the regular season.
Ready for
when you see that happen?
He ready for the playoffs.
I feel you.
Mm-hmm. Load managing.
Exactly.
Load managing is hockey. I feel you.
That's it.
All right, so let's go into the biggest topic of the week. We've been previewing this for the past few months. For y'all who haven't heard or may not been paying attention, The NCAA has been under pressure and fire about paying athletes, and with the Supreme Court cases that have gone against them recently. But starting last year, and it started with California, states started saying, you know what, we can't force you to pay these people, but what we can do is stopping them from being able to generate income based on their own name, image, and likeness, or NIL, as we like to talk to. And this goes back to Ed O'Bannon. If y'all remember Mr. Easy Ed O'Bannon from UCLA, and he said he was watching his son, or maybe it was his nephew, play NCAA basketball, and he saw himself on the game, and it was the number one selling video game on the market right now, and he wasn't getting a dime. And he started this lawsuit. This has been 20 years ago, saying that's just not right. You're going to use my image. You're going to have somebody actually look like me with my number selling merchandise, and I don't get any of it. So plug it. Go ahead.
So what California, and I wish the 7-footer was on here, because I know he's intimately involved in California. But when Governor Newsom signed that bill, and he was California actually led this whole fight, so to speak, as far as the NIL, name, image, and likeness. And so what that bill said that Governor Newsom signed, by the way, Ed O'Bannon, who you just mentioned, and LeBron James was by him when he signed this. Now, why LeBron was there when he'd never been to college, I don't know, but
it was on his show. That's on his show.
Okay. So when he signed that bill, so what that bill said, though, Big Reg, was it's illegal for state schools in California to prohibit their athletes from making money on their personal name, image, and likeness. So that's what that bill said. And they were the first. Now, I'm sure Alabama, and there was a couple other states that followed suit and crafted similar laws that would take effect either this month or next year. And the NCAA ran to Congress and tried to get them to intervene, because they're gangsters. I call them the mafia. The NCAA tried to intervene and say, okay, hold up. Let's get a national something established. So certain states, say maybe like the schools where, not ironic, where like the Oklahomas reside, the big schools, the big major power football schools and basketball schools where they reside. And these lesser states won't be left behind, and all the athletes would naturally gravitate towards those schools. They're already gravitating towards those schools anyway. So that's what the NCAA tried to prevent from happening. But really, what they tried to prevent from happening is the money train coming to an end. Because, well, I'm sure we'll get into it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Vince.
No, I was just gonna jump on a few points that Ed had made. Going back real quick to the LeBron part. Even with him in high school, you don't think like St. Vincent St. Mary was profiting off of LeBron?
Oh yeah,
no, they were on ESPN.
They're still
high school on ESPN.
Yeah, they even tried to.
Eight of his games on ESPN prime time.
Yeah, they even tried to sanction him that time when they gave him jerseys for free or something like that, and they tried to suspend him off some bull on that. But even before Ed O'Bannon, I mean, even though like no lawsuit was filed, rewind all the way back to the days of the Fab Five, where they would put out Fab Five Nikes or Fab Five like jerseys, and none of them profited from that.
Well, on the surface,
but you do know Ed O'Bannon was before the Fab Five. Just saying. But I hear you.
Yeah, you know.
I hear you. What was funny to me, or ironic, is the big bad NCAA ran to the federal government to try to fix that situation. And instead of trying to legislate and bring the presidents and governors of these universities together and come up with a comprehensive national rule about this, then Bama's allowed the time to run out. When come June 30th, July 1st, the law, July 1st just passed. There were 24 states that had either passed laws or the governor was signing executive orders putting NIL available immediately. Because as you said, these big school states, the Texases of the world, the Alabamas, the Floridas, the Georgias, they weren't going to be left behind in California. They weren't going to let the Pac-12 now become the powerhouse because everybody can go out there and start getting paid. It's like, oh, that ain't happening.
Plus these
But
blue
Big
chips
Red.
are like, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. So Big Red. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Sense.
I would say no. Plus these blue chips were like, all right, NCAA, I see your move of trying to hold me back, and I raised you, me not even going to your school at all, and joining this league, forming a league of my own,
G League.
going overseas.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But get back, Big Reg. Why are you surprised that they let it go so long? Because I can give you an analogy. It's not like people that take advantage of lesser people. It's not like there's been precedent after precedent after precedent of this happening. Last week just celebrated Juneteenth a couple weeks ago, and that was Texas pushing the limit. They knew slavery had been done.
Mhm.
It had ended months before.
Years.
Years.
Mhm.
And now, and they're like just now getting to it. So coming around, because they was holding out hope or still trying to get that last drop of money that they could get. Well, the NCAA was holding out hope that maybe, just maybe, Congress would possibly step in and save the day, and all things could be rosy. I'm sure they kick back. They can kick back, throw a little kickback where they need to throw it at. But I'm not surprised that they waited to the last minute. But it was inevitable. It was coming. The train, once that train started rolling, it wasn't slowing down.
Right. But it's not going to slow down. So do something. Don't just say, we punt.
They can't. But what could they do, Big Reg? There's nothing. I don't think there was anything they can do. They can't.
Nothing they could do.
They can't create a system where we just going to keep some of it, because that's not going to work. It's over. It's over.
It's better than what they left doing. So now you got, like I said, you got 24 states that got some kind of law in place. You got another 15 states that are in the process of passing laws. You got another 3 or 4 states that are saying, you know what, whatever the schools decide to do is cool with us. So now you got these athletes out there that got to figure out what they can and can't do depending on the state they're in. Which is crazy. And like you said, as far as Congress goes, there are 8 different bills right now being proposed in Congress and in the Senate and the House, depending on who you go, all trying to deal with this. But nobody can come up with a plan. And this happened last year during the pandemic.
Right.
When California signed this. And even California changed their law. Remember, the California law wasn't supposed to come into effect until 2023. And then some of the other states said, we ain't waiting until 2023, we can do it next year. So they can already change their law and make their law effective immediately, like everybody else, because they don't want to lose out to these players.
So here's the flip side, and I never even considered this, but when these athletes started signing these individual deals this past week, in these last few days, it had me thinking, I wish there was a way that this could have been regulated years ago. But now I'm trying to think of, so there was one athlete that played for Alabama that just recently signed. He was a true freshman last year. He made all SEC freshman team, started on the field, and he signed a little deal. He signed a little deal with one of these little chicken places or whatever. But it got me to thinking about the motive. Now that these athletes are going to have some serious change for 19-year-olds or 20-year-olds, now that they're going to have some serious coin in their pocket, how is that going to affect their play and attitude towards playing for the University of Alabama, playing for the University of Georgia, playing for Maryland? How do you think this is going to affect these individuals? Because let's face it, all athletes ain't going to get a deal. Some of these guys just going to still be just regular dudes on full scholarship. That's a great thing. But how do you guys feel that this is going to actually affect the athletes involved? Now, say if you got a deal with, say, Puma, or whoever, and you got you a nice car, you got a nice little setup, apartment, maybe you got a nice little town, whatever. Mm-hmm. How do you think it's going to affect these kids? Because it's like we see when athletes go to the NFL or whatever sports league, and some of them get money and they're fine, and they're on top of things.
It's going to reveal their character.
We're on the second. The other opposite end is these athletes get money and then they go crazy.
Yeah, I was going to say it just reveals their true character. It either shows them that no matter if they have an endorsement deal or not, their mind is on like the game, winning, making that team better, making themselves better as a player, developing. Or on the flip side, oh, now I got some money in my pocket. I'm all about me. I'm ego, and it backfires.
A quote from Master P about his son said, "This is going to change the way college athletes want to stay in school."
Yeah, some athletes were leaving early because they needed to take care of their families.
Their families, yeah.
Now, if you can make money and still have a good time playing college sports, you don't have to rush it. But I mean, what's interesting so far, we talk about some of these athletes, you're going to have, just like in life, you're going to have athletes on different levels of this. People who have smart representation behind them, or who have already grown large social media followings prior to this, are the ones that's going to make out masterfully. Hersey Miller, we just posted, who's Master P's son. Obviously, Master P put this deal together. His son is getting ready to go to Tennessee State, HBCU. He got a 4-year, $2 million endorsement deal with Web Apps America, which is a tech company. Now, the tech company wants to invest in HBCUs because they're trying to get Black people to get involved in the tech industry. So it makes sense. He's going to be a spokesman. He's going to go around to different schools and all that. But he's coming from a man who's got a father who's a master promoter. So he knows what the business is.
Self-millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Self-made millionaire.
Yeah, but I don't think the social media angle really holds firm as far as.
Oh, yes, it does.
Because no, I'm talking about as far as preparing you for these unexpected riches and being responsible.
Okay.
Because we see Sha'Carri Richardson, who has several million followers on Instagram. You've seen the type of mistake that she recently made. So,
I agree. But those people, the two biggest beneficiaries so far in this have been people you've never even heard of.
Well, that's true. Because I have never heard of Hersey Miller.
Really?
Well, he's going to be a freshman.
He's going to Tennessee State, so he can't be that good.
Yeah. No, I don't know how good he is. But Master P is also trying to buy Tennessee State. He's literally trying to buy the HBCU.
He actually had quite a few D1 schools that he could have gone to. So he had skills. He just decided to go to the HBCU school as a choice.
Yeah, to build it back up, to get HBCUs back out there.
Yeah,
I mean, I support that, but okay.
But the biggest beneficiary so far, there's twin sisters, Hannah and Haley Cavender. They play for Fresno State. Now they can ball. They're starting D1 basketball players. They're the two leading scorers for Fresno State. But they have combined over 3.8 million followers between Instagram and TikTok.
Did you say OnlyFans?
Huh?
Did you say OnlyFans or did you say TikTok? I didn't hear what you said. Did you say OnlyFans or TikTok?
Instagram.
Instagram.
Oh, I thought you said OnlyFans.
At midnight, they were in New York. They signed a deal with Boost Mobile and 6-Star Nutrition that'll pay both of them 6-figure annual deals.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty good.
And then they're also going to become social media influencers. Just because the number of their followers, they're estimated to make $250,000 to $600,000 a year just by promoting goods on their social media.
Oh yeah.
So these young ladies are getting ready to make $350,000 to $1 million a year each as basketball players at Fresno State that have a real good social media following. There's a gymnast at LSU, Olivia Dunn. She's got $5 million social media followers. They say she's going to make $1 million plus a year.
Wow.
Just by being an influencer.
Don't social media influencers, don't they already make money?
They do. They do.
But the college athletes couldn't because of the NCAA rules.
Right.
So now the money that's available to everybody else.
Hold on. I gotta clear something up. BJ, hold on. I didn't say anything negative about Tennessee State. I go to an HBCU. If anyone doesn't know that, I'll support HBCUs. Mm-hmm. I'm not disrespecting the HBCU as far as the level of education you can get, but I'm not going to sit here and say Tennessee State can play Alabama. I'm not saying they're a lesser educational institution, but athletic institution, yes, they are less. That's just a fact. Now in the 60s, if we talk about the 60s and the early 70s, when colored folk wasn't allowed on Alabama's campus, well, yeah, Tennessee State, Joe Gilliam. Hey, BJ, we Pittsburgh Steelers fans, Jefferson Street, I know Tennessee State has a long history of athletes, but not today. Not today. That's all I was saying. I was not disrespecting the great. First of all, it's in Nashville. You know I'm not disrespecting. I love Nashville. But yeah, I'm not disrespecting anything about the HBCU, particularly Tennessee State. Great academics, but athletically, they're not there. No.
Quick side note: shout out to Reggie Theus for getting that head coaching job at another HBCU. The name escapes me at the time.
Oh wow, that's good look.
While we giving props HBCU, and I know I've said it before. Shout out to Primetime. Primetime put a spotlight back on HBCUs. We thought it was going to be Maker at Howard, but he got hurt. But Primetime is putting not only his personal time and interest in his school, but trying to boost all the HBCUs, and now there's more shine coming in. So, yeah, that's good stuff. The coolest deals I've seen done, though, have to be, and when would you see a Florida State player, active Florida State player, and an active Miami player getting together and starting a business? But that's what's happened. Florida State and Miami quarterbacks, Mackenzie Milton and De'Aaron King, not only have signed their own deals that each going to pay them somewhere in the neighborhood of $30,000 to $50,000 this year, they actually co-founded their own company. They call it Dreamfield, that is booking college athletes for in-person appearances and helping them to set up so these people that don't have the capability of facility, to get marketing deals themselves, they can go sign up with Dreamfield, and depending on your notoriety and all that, you can get $40,000 to $10,000 an hour to go show up someplace and wave and sign some autographs and make more money.
Bravo.
2 current players doing big things.
Isn't it funny how far we've come? Ohio State, Terrell Pryor and his boys was just getting some tattoos and signing autographs, and they got banned.
Yep.
Vilified.
Coach
The coach got fired.
National championship coach.
Yeah, and Urban Meyer came in, went undefeated that next year with not his players.
Right.
And now he's the head coach and running Jacksonville. Ain't that how
only in America.
So
sad.
yeah, I am sad that the 7-footer had to jump off because I really wanted to get his point of view on this because he's got an interesting background. Maybe we'll get him back on and talk about it in the future because he's a former NCAA Division I player who happened to become an attorney and law professor. Even though, listen to him, you wouldn't. That's my man. That's my man. So we'll get back on this as more and more things happen. But you expect people like Paige Beckers, the UConn, soon-to-be super sophomore, who was National Player of the Year as a freshman, did all that. She's got like 3 million followers. The young lady that's getting ready to go to UConn from St. John's College right here in D.C., she got like 2 million followers going into UConn. It's going to be a lot of money made, and some people that's going to be making. You be like, huh?
A lot of these people who declared for the draft now starting to withdraw because now they can see opportunity staying in school.
One thing the 7-footer did bring up, and I don't know if I want to put this out in the ether, but it was a very interesting point. I think this is going to affect the G League and them trying to grow that. Don't worry about going to college. We can pay you. Now you can stay in college, use a Duke or Kentucky's platform to make just as much money, if not more. So that'll be interesting. And who's to stop a mega booster? This is what he really said that made me scratch my head. To go out and say, I got $15 million this year. I got $1 million per player, and I'm gonna go out and recruit and pay each player $1 million.
Dynasty's about to happen.
Blue chips.
Yep.
I mean,
as Southern, remember that Pony Express team, the best team money could buy?
yeah, SMU.
Mm-hmm.
SMU, the best team money could buy. Everybody that was a starter was getting something, and the big boys was getting a lot. So eventually they're going to have to figure out, and I hate, saying they need regulations, but if not, that's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen in football or basketball, but somebody's going to say, I'm a billionaire. I make $12 million in a day.
Well, first of all, it's already happening. It's definitely going to happen, and there's no question. There's no question. And I was just having this conversation earlier today. When you have these schools like Alabama, Texas, Oklahoma, the big boys, the Blue Bloods, Ohio State, they have people behind the scenes that actually run these programs.
Yeah.
So that's what I alluded to earlier. I said, well, how do you think these other guys? Because everyone's not going to get a deal, but everyone's going to be taken care of. Because these people, no, they're going to be taken care of because these guys that act and these people that actually run these programs and pay to coach and pay to have these programs maintained, they own businesses, long list of businesses and what have you. And so there's easily a place for all these athletes to benefit. Now it might not be as public as others, but they're going to figure out a way. They have been, I'm sure they've been working on the plan for years, I'm sure, because eventually one day this was going to happen. And I'm sure that plan probably got intensified over the last several months, trying to work out a way where everyone can eat, because you got to have equality in these programs, particularly with young kids. You can't have one kid, you can't have the star defensive back or the star running back driving a Lambo. Because they like flash. These young people, most of them like a little flash.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have one driving this supercar and the other kid, driving, so something regular. It's
Right.
just not going to work. So everybody's going to eat. It's just a matter of some people's going to be out there, high profile eating, and some people just going to be behind the scenes, laid back eating. But yeah.
I mean, but that's just like in the NFL, NBA, and any other pro athlete sport. You have individuals that's getting multi-million-dollar contracts, and then you got somebody that's making bare minimum $300,000-$400,000. I mean,
yeah, but see, in the NBA, you kind of locked in because it's a profession, a real professional league. You have contracts and things of that nature. You really can't have. You don't really have the movement that an athlete can just say, okay, I'm not getting paid. I'm in the transfer portal. The next week or the next month, I'm somewhere else.
Yeah.
So they got to balance.
They guarantee me $6 million.
And the recruiting, the courting. Oh yeah, basically it's gonna be like a come to death row approach. Like,
Mhm.
So what's gonna happen to the boosters now?
Oh, they can go buck wild. They get to come from behind the dark.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And they get to be right out front. I
Yes.
own
They can push out more money.
XYZ company.
More money.
You are promoting my company when you on that field. Here's $150,000.
More money.
Don't worry about your mom and daddy. We got them.
Yeah.
Come to my school. We got an apartment for them. We got a car for them. And we got $100,000 for you. And I can do it out in the clear. I ain't got to hide no more.
Yeah.
And they would get real folk.
Entertaining.
Yep.
And that's why the NCAA should have came out with a national policy.
Yep.
And this getting ready to get real funny out there.
But greed does funny things to one's ego, and that's what was running things. It was the greed. I mean, if you was used to getting all that 1 billion or 2 billion, whatever it's up to now, you're not sharing willingly, I should say. Should, because there was plenty for everybody, but when greed is involved, you kind of want it all to yourself.
And this is just the beginning. Don't think the players are coming back and forgetting about pay for play. This is something totally different from pay for play.
Yeah.
Y'all still need to pay us for these billions y'all making, and we the ones out here putting the product on.
Yeah.
So that's the next step. All right, let's get ready to get up out of here. Some things that caught our attention for you tennis fans out there like me. I know y'all say you fan about everything, but I am a big tennis fan. Wimbledon is in the quarterfinals. The ladies quarterfinals was today. The gentlemen's quarterfinals is tomorrow. In the ladies, we either going to have a first-time Grand Slam champion or Ash Barty, Angelique Kerber are going to add to their totals. But what I really wanted to talk real briefly about is the men's side. It looks like we're going to have history established again at Wimbledon. Can Novak win his third Grand Slam in a row and join Rafa and Roger in the 20 Grand Slam club, the winningest males ever? Or can Roger win 3 more and get to number 21 and be on the top by himself? So I don't know about y'all, but while I'm busy working tomorrow, I'm gonna have some sound on listening to the tennis matches.
As will I.
For you, big time mixed martial art fans out there, UFC 264, Poirier McGregor, Part 3, this Saturday. Main card starts 10 p.m. ESPN pay-per-view. The co-main event is Gilbert Burns, former welterweight title contender, versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So that should be a good card. The winner of the Poirier McGregor fight has got a easy line to take on the champion Charles Oliveira. Or if McGregor wins, maybe he'll do Nate Diaz 3. That's actually the biggest money fight he can do. And I think McGregor doesn't care anything about a belt anymore. He just wants to make as much money as possible because he knows his days in the UFC are numbered. Because when you got $200 million in the bank from selling your whiskey, it's hard to get up and, train like a killer. And he getting in the ring with killers.
Yeah.
Just take the money and run.
I don't know why he's still fighting.
Yeah, they estimating that he's got a net worth now of well over $300 million. Yeah, it is hard to continue to do that.
He's probably waiting for that big bag and then hang it up.
Well, he just got a big. Well, yeah, you're right.
You talking about a big bag from UFC?
Didn't he fight Mayweather?
Mhm.
Yeah, he talking about a big bag from UFC.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna get that. He was trying to get that Pacquiao money, and that fell through because that's where the money is. But we talked about it earlier. Last but not least, fellas, and I don't know how deep or how little y'all want to get into this, but I got to point out the phony. How can I put this? The interesting timing of the Washington football team's press release last week. Tuesday, it was announced that Tanya Snyder was becoming co-CEO of the team and was going to be taking an active role in the team, making her one of only, I think, 3 or 4 women with the title of chief executive in the NFL. Sounded good for a day and a half until news came out Thursday that the Washington football team was fined $10 million, the largest fine ever levied on an NFL team, and the Dan Snyder had to step away from the day-to-day operations of the team for a while, and that his wife Tanya would be taking over, the day-to-day operations while he stepped away from those.
That's the biggest by the way, if I ever saw one.
What was the fine? What was the fine for?
The workplace
supposed to be the sexual harassment.
environment. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
For the sexual harassment environment in the
Cheerleaders,
organization.
yeah.
But that's all optics.
Yeah, they putting this all to bed. So basically, Dan Snyder cut a deal. Look,
Roger.
I'm going to hire some minorities and put them in place of power. I'm going to hire some women and put them in place of power. And I'll even quietly go away from the team for a little while. Just don't make me sell a team.
Mm. Man, just when you thought we could stay out the news for anything bad.
I don't know why the Washington sports football team, whatever they call themselves these days, I don't know why the fan base is disgusted and upset. If you walk into an office, right? Say you walk into your boss's office. Either any one of my 3 Big Reds, J3 Cents. Y'all have a heart to heart. You walk into your boss's office with some serious business at hand. And you come to and y'all figure out what's going on. You can reach a conclusion, and then you walk out. But if you go into your boss's office, but you're your boss's boss, even though it's on paper he's your boss, but really he's not your boss because you pay him. What other outcome do you expect? Roger Goodell doesn't. He's not Dan Snyder's boss. Dan Snyder pays him.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever outcome Dan Snyder wants, now Roger Goodell is a skilled lawyer by trade. I'm sure he has a team behind him that's equally skilled. They came up with a nice little solution. This will work. It, as you say, J3, it satisfies all the optics.
Mm-hmm.
On paper, no other team in the NFL currently has more people. They're out front as far as the front office is concerned, as far as the number of decision makers who happen to be either a woman or a person or a minority. So they're out front on that currently. So all the bases are covered. Pay a little $10 million. In the NFL, that's
right.
That's like $10.
Yeah, that's a backup lineman.
I believe Washington franchise is the number 2 richest franchise in the NFL after the Cowboys. They're not. Y'all slipped the number 3 now.
Mm-hmm.
They were number
Cowboys,
2.
New England, and us.
Okay. Well, New England's getting ready to fall off because Tom's not there. But yeah, that's so. Anyway, it's. I'm not upset. I'm like, okay. Why did he get fined? Oh, he got fined for that. Okay.
But I mean that explains a lot, because remember when the minority owners was trying to force him to sell, then all of a sudden the NFL allowed Dan to buy out the minority owners,
Right.
that would all make sense. He worked this from way back, mapped this out, and said, I'm not going to be in the way. I'm going to put all these people in position. I'm going to hire a minority coach.
My
I'm going
wife.
to hire a minority president. I'm going to let my wife run it.
Right. Which basically means he's going to be Geppetto.
Exactly. And y'all don't make me sell this cash cow that's getting ready to really become a cash cow, because all the owners know they're making money now when the United States has gambling nationwide. NFL teams are going to make money like European soccer teams, if not more. So it's crazy. I do want to shout out one quick thing before we get our final post. BJ, you are absolutely right. I hope parents, and for kids that don't have parents, that have mentors, and for people that don't have mentors, these schools not looking out for the best interests of these student athletes, put them and get them involved in some kind of investment or business schools. Matter of fact, Dion posted great. He was like, you need to take a marketing class. You need to start getting business degrees. You need to figure out buy investments. Now you're going to have opportunity to make some money. Make sure you make that money work for you and not just work for this money to go out and buy stuff. So they've got an opportunity now to change how the dynamics are. So it'll be real interesting. 7-footer, we just get ready to jump up out of here, but real quick, what you got on NIL before we hit our final post?
Oh wow. Well, y'all probably already covered it. It's the new day coming, long time overdue. So we'll see what the impact is, how it's going to play out, but it's going to be a lot of changes. We'll see. I think it's all positive in the overall analysis.
Any worries or concerns about the fact that it's right now is state to state and in some areas school to school inside the states because there's no standard policy per se around this?
Yeah, it's going to be a process to get it all standardized and figured out, but it's going to happen over time. Of course, I'm always plugging for retroactivity back to 1913. So
hey, I feel you. Hey, they're gonna say that statute of limitations have already passed, so you can't. your time has passed. But I'm waiting for some students to get together. I heard it. I forget what radio station I was listening to, but somebody said he's waiting for a class action to be filed for students within the past 5 to 10 years.
It's a reckoning.
That they have been limited from the ability to make money, and now all of a sudden you're going to let people make money.
Right. And, of course, there's the issue, too, of, people like Reggie Bush and others. He came to mind immediately about getting their Heisman back and all that. The records back at Michigan, Jerry Tarkanian's family probably want a whole lot of shit. Stop that.
Talk about it.
Well, he got a problem. He was the coach. When you the coach and you was negotiating that might have been some other issues. I hear you. Yeah, it's gonna be real fun to see how this plays out. It's just amazing to me. The biggest winners look like so far are going to be female athletes, which is totally flipped upside what the norm is, as far as sports athletes being able to make money. So I guess that makes me a little happy to see that the smart ladies out there will be able to cash in real quick. The scary part is we know why most of them are cashing in. It's not because of their performances on the court, unfortunately.
Man, Kim Kardashian been cashing in for 20 years.
Oh man.
Hey, have it works.
But this is a
Have it
sports
works.
show. This is a sports show.
I mean, it is technically sports, but
Mhm.
carry on.
So, yeah, that again, the Washington football team, the more and more they seem like they're on the right path, the more and more stuff keeps crawling out the dark. So
And we still can't even choose a damn name. Which is crazy.
maybe Dan will stay out of the way for a while. Maybe he'll end up like remember the old 49ers owner who ended up having to let his
Eddie DeBartolo,
end up letting his
sister.
and her husband running the 49ers, and he eventually ended up out of the whole picture. Quietly, they pushed him out of the picture because of his gambling situation. Maybe that's what they're going to do with Dan. First it's the wife, but when the wife is running things, you know she ain't.
Really. No slight to her, because I'm sure she's quite astute and very business savvy, but we all know who's Geppetto.
All right. Before we get in trouble, let's go ahead and move on.
Yeah, thank you, Big Man. I was biting. Since we're gonna have to talk offline, yo.
What?
Stop that, man. Stop.
All right, it's time for us to get our final post out there. J3, what you got for me?
Man, I just want to give a shout out to Sha'Carri Richardson for acknowledging what she did wrong. It just came out that she won't be going to the Tokyo Olympics, but she acknowledged what she did, and she learned from her lesson, and she'll keep on going strong.
Oh wow! So she decided she wasn't going to the Olympics, or they announced that she wasn't a part of the 4x100 team.
Nah, they announced that she's not going to be going to Tokyo.
Wow!
It just came out.
Wow! All right, what you got for us here?
Well, I was going to mention Sha'Carri because I don't think me and J3 will agree on that subject, but I just good to see you guys. Good for thank you, 7 Foot Poet Sense, for joining us this evening. Always a pleasure. I just want everybody to stay healthy. Hey, my dad got his COVID shot today. That was a miracle in itself.
Oh wow!
Yeah, my dad's he's one of them anti-everything guys. So he called me and told me he got one, so I was happy about that. But anyway, just everybody stay safe and see you next week.
That's good. That's good. Sense, what you got for me, partner?
Just to again, just give a shout out to Reggie Theus, who just recently was named the head coach of Bethune-Cookman College's basketball team. Another notch in the belt of HBCUs on the come up, and finally getting the notoriety that they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sense, what you think real quick about the HBCUs finally start getting athletes, and the NCAA changed the rules so now you can pay people, and the white schools got more money to pay the athletes?
Hey, so much I can say about that, but I already put it in my mouth, so I'm just going.
The more things change, the more things stay the same.
That's it.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
But you can't blame the white schools. You got to blame the athletes and their black athletes' parents.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the black athletes never would have fell for the okie doke, also known as integration, well, then we wouldn't be in this situation right now as far as the HBCUs are concerned. So don't blame the play. Don't hate the game. Don't hate the player. Hate the game.
Well, stay tuned. I'll just say that. I'll stay tuned.
The game been rigged before we was playing it, but we're gonna move on. 7 Footer, what you got for me, Potter?
Well, once again, I just want to reiterate that I like to withdraw everything I said about Big Ed in the first segment of this broadcast. Please withdraw that from the record, man. And I do want to take a shot at my man J3, because I totally think Sha'Carri Richardson should be allowed to run in the Olympics, or enforcing a rule that imposes an unforced punishment and it's an unjust punishment, it's not justice at all. It's not right at all.
Mhm.
And the fact of the matter is, it wasn't performance enhancing. It was legal in the state she did it in. There's no reason for her not to run other than they are disproportionately punishing a black female athlete.
But is that drug banned within the IOC rule book?
As
Not
I
the-
said, J3, I withdraw everything. The Big Ed. Everything I said about Big Ed in the first segment. I really don't know, Big Ed, about what the handbook says, and even if it does say that, my point is that rule is antiquated and is harshly being it's harshly being imposed upon her. It doesn't make common sense. It's not justice. It's not right. Particularly Olympic athletes train for 4 years, for 10 years, for one shot. At the Olympics typically. I mean, it's just grossly out of proportion. If she should be punished at all, it's a question about if it's either wrong. Marijuana, we hold the assumption that it's wrong, and that's not even necessarily true. It's a plant, and
I keep my weed from California.
Yeah. So my parting shot is Sha'Carri Richardson. I think she did handle it well in the media from a public relations standpoint, and I hope she gets a chance to run in the Olympics. So that's it. I'm good with that.
I hope that there's enough backlash from that decision by the USOC, and they'll allow her to at least run in the 4x100 relays. The penalty, she knew the rule. I agree the rule is bogus, needs to be looked at. It is a rule. So the punishment, not running 100, should have been enough. I mean, the U.S. Olympic Committee is going a little far.
But was this rule exclusive to her? Did all the athletes who participated in the trials, did they have to abide by the same rules and not?
Her suspension ends in 30 days. 30 days would allow her to run on a 4x100 relay.
Well, but y'all missing the point. First of all, again, we all know as athletes at any given time you can be tested. Everybody knows that, and I don't care what state you in. Marijuana is marijuana. She got caught. She got to pay the price, and she said, I made the mistake." So, and I applaud that. She acknowledged that she knew the rules. She did what she did anyway, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm just acknowledging that she acknowledged what she did was wrong. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I want to be invited back on the show, so I got no further comment.
All right. In closing, as usual, we always appreciate the fans. We like the comments back and forth. We appreciate you tuning in. I like to thank Sense and the 7-footer for jumping on. We appreciate you. Y'all know y'all always got an open invitation. Y'all's busy schedules is what keep us from seeing y'all too often. But we really appreciate the help. And
thanks for having me, man.
Thank you for
of course, my partners in crime, J3, Big Ed, the professor, and our man Johnny. I appreciate y'all as always. Keep doing what we're doing. We're gonna keep building and growing this. We're gonna take it to the next level. We get ready to come up. Man, it'll be 2 years, September, fellas.
Yeah.
Keep moving. So, all right. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate it. We're here each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Rain or shine. You will get 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes we have 8 of us up in here. All we want to do is talk sports and give it to you how we feel. Straight, unfiltered, from the voice of fans that live it and love it each and every day. If you can't catch us live, you can catch us on our YouTube channel, Positions on Sports Talk Show. You can catch us on our Facebook page. The show is posted usually within a few hours. If you're a podcast fan, you don't want to deal with that, go to your favorite podcast platform. We're there. We don't care. iTunes, wherever your favorite podcast, Positions on Sports Talk Show. Please reach out to us. You can hit us up on Facebook. You can hit us up on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. And again, From the Post family, we appreciate you. We'll see you next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Peace.
See you.
Good show.